Hi, my name is GraceUnderwood, and I'm going to be talking about body dysmorphia today. Um, I chose to explore this topic because of the negative effects social media has on youth development. The way people are perceived on the internet does not represent how they feel in their own skin. Men and women develop body dysmorphia disorder and mental health disorder, or even though they don't even see it as a severe problem, it slowly becomes one. The disease itself wires your head to see one or more perceived defects or flaws in one's appearance. Not to say all youth seen using social media experience this specific disorder, but it has come more prevalent within this generation. I specifically chose this topic because it hits close to home kind of to me. Being an athlete, I'm trained to eat and look a certain way in the world, I would say. Once I had an idea in my head, I began to consume me. I realized how beautiful women were or how fit men looked on social media, and I began to see myself differently than everyone else. Social media, the social media culture in general, had me lose sight of like what my life purpose what actually was. And for that, I actually couldn't grow as like a person, I wouldn't say. Um, this topic is relevant to youth tremendously. Society is the most significant factor in all that we do as of right now. This generation and generations to come and going to have a difficult time finding peace in what the body they have been given or have, and they will always wish to be like the next girl or guy. I have been guilty of it my whole life, looking online, saving images of what I would like to look like, what diets promote the best, most weight loss in the shortest amount of time. The real issue is none of it is accurate. All of that we have seen online and everything is not fake, but it's not real. It's not what we ourselves are meant to be. What we are is healthy, and a mirror and scale should not define who we are as people. Like my sister once told me when I came home crying about my recent increase in weight because I've been working out every single day and gaining a lot of muscle. She said to me, your body will continue to change and accommodate your lifestyle, and it will continue to do so your entire life. So she said, you could not get hung up on the number. If you like the way you look now, that's all that matters. You are at your current peak performance, and your body is doing what you need to do on that day. This topic is relevant and essential to youth to promote better lifestyle. We have to stop comparing ourselves to others and allow yourself to grow without body image issues and disordered eating habits. It's an important thing in the population in general. Men, women, kids, even some adults struggle with it. The material I wanted to connect this to first is in chapter 12 mentions the problems of youth and their failures to cope. So I wrote down, adolescents face many pressures, yet some face problems that demand exceptional managing, which falls under external and internalized. So externalized is a category as antisocial behavior and delinquency, whereas internalized is presented as depression, suicide, and eating disorders. Based on the material I wished to share within this TED Talk, internalizing is more connected to the body dysmorphia image that I'm going for, because it is based on the body image flaws of all of which cause depression and anxiety, followed by disordered eating habits. Internalized behaviors are behaviors that are harmful to the adolescent. Adolescents who engage in them are over-controlled. These problems do not come from or come to others' attention unless manifested as behaviors. So in general, the body dysmorphia, it's not diagnosed, but it is considered a mental health condition and only becomes prevalent to other people when there's depression symptoms or anxiety symptoms present, and then they backtrace it to what the real problem is, which is body dysmorphia or image problems, self-body image, all of the above. So moving on, the material connect number 2 that I would like to do is participation in sports can enhance the prestige for girls, enhancing body image disorders. This is stated in chapter 9 of our readings this year. The negative enhancement of the body image is one of the biggest reasons for my TED Talk today. Chapter 9 may not have heavily talked on this topic, but it does not mean that it's not essential. For instance, like that was nearly one sentence in a paragraph of body imaging problems in chapter 9, but it didn't really go in detail on the certain images that girls or guys have seen. Um, the connection between body image and athletes is exceptionally high. We focus on the photos posted on social media, online, or in magazines of what an athlete should look like, but we don't focus on what we look like and how we are performing in our own bodies. We need to normalize the difference in people and stop promoting diets that do not promote a healthy body. Society and social media need to decide to stop promoting one and only one body image, meaning the model type. So a male model or female model, there's many different body sizes and many different images that we should be portraying, but we're actually getting a little better, but we are continuing to do that slim, thin, six-pack image, which is not helping the generation today. So body dysmorphia will otherwise continue to grow in the youth and stopping their inevitable success. Meaning the social media aspect of life is not going to let them grow where they need to go. So we were told to make some connections, and I thought one of the 3 C's, or well, there's 5 C's, but 3 of them I'm going to connect. And the first one I wanted to do was health competence. So it involves nutrition, exercise, and rest to keep oneself fit. The way someone fuels their body and exercises and rests themselves is an essential part to life in general. Nutrition is known to be necessary for brain development, and at the same time, exercise is good for the body, but only to a certain extent. So people with body dysmorphia tend to overexercise because of their image issues, but we want to scale back on exercising actually in this sense. Overexercising causes harm to the body in a way that people do not actually notice. And then finally, sleep or rest is known as the #1 performance enhancer. So that goes for all athletes where this disordered eating is more common. Health competence can positively and negatively affect the youth depending on how they go about each section. I would personally say it depends on the person. So nutrition may be good in one person, but the exercise is over-exercising, or one doesn't get enough sleep, or their nutrition is poor, but they don't exercise enough. So it really just depends on the person and how they're actually viewing themselves or their bodies at that time. The next one I would like to talk about is confidence. Confidence is an internal sense of overall positive self-worth and self-efficacy. Regarding body dysmorphic disorder, a teen's confidence may be impacted negatively in many ways. The way one with this disease may view themselves is negative, as though there are extreme flaws or imperfections in one's body. The concerning part about having body dysmorphia is that faults you see in the mirror actually aren't seen by others. It's really in your head. It's not actually noticeable. While you sit and wonder, feeling embarrassed and ashamed, your social anxiety builds and your body shuts down, along with the your mental toughness to tough it out and just keep going. Therefore, your confidence is no longer exists and your ability to grow in youth diminishes. So once again, the youth is unable to grow in the world or as themselves if they don't have the confidence or they don't see the confidence in the mirror. And that all starts with social media and or the way they perceive themselves. Finally, the last thing I would like to talk about is connection. The connection is positive bonds with people and institutions reflected in exchanges between the individual and his or her peers, family, school, community, in which both parties contribute to the relationship. So this is one of the biggest ones, the biggest C's of the 5 C's. Connection with others is critical for body dysmorphia patients or people with this disorder in general. The youth actually needs other people to break the bridge of their body image problems as well as their eating disorders. No one can go one day and just drop their habits. So they are created for so long, they're just going to continue unless you get help. Having one or a few people that you trust or support to keep you pushing is very, very beneficial. I'm not saying that they will change you overnight, but soon you'll begin to see what they have seen in you for so long. Connection has positively affected youth, and you can see a smile come back to their face. I know personally, when I suffered from this disorder, I have one person in my life who kept me going and tried to show me what I was missing the entire time, and it's one of the things that every youth or the whole youth or younger adolescents need in their life to continue to push. That concludes my TED Talk. In general, I think we should bring more awareness to body dysmorphia, and my reference slide is at the bottom of my PowerPoint, and I hope you enjoyed this talk.